While participating in this Appropriation and Finance Bill, the first thing that occurs to my mind is that this government has given a return gift to the nation after the elections in the 5 states recently held. First of all, the petrol and diesel prices have risen 6 times in 7 days. LPG cylinders costlier by 50 rupees, and it is almost rupees 1,000 per cylinder. Prices of kerosene oil have doubled. Edible oil prices are up by 25 to 40%. 11% hike in prices of essential medicines, and it will be further rise in the coming months, according to reports. So rise in prices of cereal, fruits, vegetables is driving up the food inflation. Petrol prices for bulk users has been increased by rupees 25 per litre, and jet fuel prices have also increased by 18%. Everybody knows in this country that when the price of bulk users for particularly diesel is increased, there will be cascading effect on all the essential commodities because of the transportation of the goods from one station to another. Sir, Moody's Investors Services has estimated that fuel retailers together lost around rupees 19,000 crores in revenue for keeping petrol and diesel prices on hold during elections in 5 states, because the government did not want to rationalize the price during election because of the political reasons. And after 5-6 months, it has been doubled, tripled, and going up every day. So my submission to the government would be that it needs to be ensured that these losses are not entirely transferred to the common people. So far the finance bill is concerned, it was passed in Lok Sabha after accepting 39 amendments to the bill that was tabled. Why was there so many amendments? Was it because of word drafting? Was it because of careless proofreading? Or failure to complete stakeholder consultations and feedback gathering ahead of introducing bills in Parliament? Because everything done in a hush-hush manner, and all on a sudden it is tabled in the Parliament, either in this House or on this House. So far Finance Bill is concerned, it was tabled naturally in the other House. So government is emptying out the piggy banks, the borrowings from small savings. The borrowings from small savings are designed to support household and pensioners, not to finance the government's deficit. In 2021, the government budgeted to borrow 2.4 lakh crore from small savings, but ended up borrowing more than double of this figure. For 22-23, the government has budgeted for 5.6 lakh crore, a figure bound to increase and is lower than last year revised estimates. Sir, poor allocation for marginalized groups. This year's budget has allocated rupees 70 crore for the rehabilitation of those involved in the manual scavenging under the self-employment scheme for rehabilitation of manual scavengers. This is 30% less than the last year's allocation of rupees 100 crores. Shockingly, even this 100 crore was revised down to rupees 43.31 crores. Why is not the government able to utilize the allocations made towards manual scavenging? Is there no seriousness in ensuring that people are not forced to risk their lives and dignity like this? Instead, the government tells us in this House that no workers have died due to manual scavenging. It's a shame on the part of the governmental authorities. Sir, the central government has SREAS, an umbrella program comprising 4 highly important higher education programs, namely National Fellowship for SC, National Overseas Scholarships for SCs, top-class education for SC students, and free coaching for SC and OBC students. But this House will be shocked to know it saw a combined allocation of only rupees 364 crore. Sir, so far the women and children are concerned. The general budget has decreased from 0.71% of the GDP of the revised estimates for 21-22 to 0.66 in the estimates of 22-23, according to an analysis of the All India Democratic Women's Association. I don't know how far it is true, but government will be in a position to tell this House that what is the truth all about. Sir, at rupees 92,736 crore, the children budget has also dropped from 2.46% of the expenditure this fiscal to 2.35% in the next fiscal. Between April to December 21, only 48% of the approved budgets for midday meals had been released. For ICDS, it was 52%. The allocations for midday meals are 11% lower than the budget estimates for the previous year. Sir, so far the education is concerned, the budget allocation made last year for education saw a 6% decrease from the budget allocation made in 2021. This year, the allocation saw an increase of 12% as compared to last year, but only a 5% increase over the allocation of 2021. The entire allocation on education for the previous year has not been used, in spite of the economic survey finding an increase in the number of children not enrolled in schools after the pandemic. So ironically, the total expenditure in education is less than 1% of the GDP, whereas the cash-strapped states, they are contributing 3 to 4 times than the center. So the states are more effective than the central government in providing funds for expenditure in the education heads, on the education heads. Sir, my next point would be, the government has claimed the the government has made tall claims about resource mobilization. But according to me, the main target of this government for resource mobilization is only to sell out the public properties, lock, stock, and barrel. Sir, and they have not spared any sector, any of the public sectors like airport, port, rail, bank, insurance, and even mini Ratna companies of the public sector. Sir, I am coming to one or two provisions of the Constitution. Sir, Article 36 of the Constitution, which deals with the directive principles of state policy. This should be a Gita or a Quran or a Bible for any government in running the government, for the governance of the country. Sir, ये संविधान का बात है भाई, समझिए पहले फिर बोलिए, बंगाल भी बोलिए, गुजरात भी बोलिए. Sir, my next point I am submitting to you. Article 38, sub-article 2, it says, and I quote, the states shall, in particular, strive to minimize the inequalities in income and endeavor to eliminate inequalities in status, etc. Then, Article 39, Clause B, that the ownership and control of the material resources of the community are so distributed as best to serve the common good. And next, Clause C, that the operation of the economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production to the common detriment. And what is happening? When the Modi government came to power or the BJP government came to power, I stand myself corrected. When the BJP government came to power in 2014, there were 103 billionaires. And they had 22 lakh crores of wealth at that point of time. And in 2021, that is last year assessment, 142 millionaires. They rose from 103 to 142. And these 142 billionaires are having 53 lakh crores wealth. And what is our budget, total budget coverage? Only 35 lakh crores. So government budget coverage is 35 lakh crores, and 142 billionaires, they are having 53 lakh crores of assets. So this is the inequality which is not only detrimental to the common good as enshrined in the Constitution under the head of directive principles of state policy. Therefore, I urge upon the government to follow the constitutional provisions in letter and spirit rather than to sell out everything to the big corporates, the crony capitalists. It seems to mobilize resources, this government has become bankrupt or insolvent, and the insolvency and bankruptcy code may be made applicable for the government also, because the figures I have mentioned before you, it is crystal clear from the figures that the government has totally surrendered to the crony capitalists, and all the economic policies of the government, they are being dictated upon by the crony capitalists, and this government is only implementing their policies. So this is an agency. This government has become an agency of the crony capitalists. So this is my submission, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is Bisambar Prasad.